What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Why They Rule. This week, I'm joined by Xenia of XeniaDidThat, and we are going to talk about why she loves the show-off Dolph Ziggler. Xenia, welcome. How are you doing?
Great, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited, and honestly, the concept of us gathering here together just to talk about how cool Dolph is delightful to me. So I'm glad.
When I asked you who you wanted to talk about, and you said Dolph, I was like high-key happy because I love Dolph Ziggler. Like, I've loved Dolph since Spirit Squad days, and I don't think he gets enough respect because I guess he just performs at such a high level of excellence all the time that people are just kind of like, yeah, he's just been there. But like, I think he's fucking awesome, and I was like really excited that we get to talk about that.
He's great. It's honestly interesting that I'm even on a show of that type because I can never pick a favorite wrestler. People always ask me, and I always tell them like 6, 7, 8, 10 people. So now you made me actually choose. So apparently when push comes to shove, I actually choose Ziggler. So.
You were really fast with it too. You were like, Dolph Ziggler, easy. I was like, okay, that makes sense. I've seen the tweets. I get it. It all adds up. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get it.
I just want to say that my current all-time top 5 is Ziggler, Miz, best friends, that is Chuck Taylor and Trent, and Ty Valkyrie.
Hell yeah.
And it was tough to choose one of those people, but also like I was leaning towards best friends, but then I was like, it's just like the entity of best friends. I can't just pick one of them.
Yeah, I feel
so Dolph was a natural choice.
So for the people that don't know much about you, when did you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am a wrestling YouTuber, journalist, ring announcer, analyst, whatever you name it, everything media related that has to do with wrestling, I do that. I'm on YouTube. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/XeniaDidThat with an X, Xenia. I do mostly interviews with wrestlers, think pieces, analytics, some unboxings, also some food-related stuff that has been performing really well, actually, which is upsetting because why are you more interested in seeing me make a salad than interview freaking Dolph Ziggler? That's kind of what I do. Also the same nickname on all other social media. I do more fashion / lifestyle / travel food related stuff on Instagram. But my main thing is my YouTube where I do interviews, think pieces, and all kinds of wrestling related things.
Yeah, so you got some good interviews over there. You got a lot of people on there. And, you know, salads ain't too bad either. And that is XeniaDidThat, Xenia. It's not Xenia. It's not Xenia.
Yes,
I don't know what people... I don't know, but it's XeniaDidThat.
People struggle. I don't know.
So hopefully, I know it might seem obvious, but there's one person out there that's like, oh my God, you know, they just figured that out.
Whoa.
So what year did you start watching wrestling?
I think it was around 2007.
Okay.
I think I was 11-ish years old. And as a Russian, it's honestly a miracle that I even encountered wrestling like that. And I didn't start watching wrestling in Russia. I actually saw WWE on TV in England because my mom had work in England. And it's just so coincided. The universe came together to help me see SmackDown. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember like the first thing you saw?
I don't. People ask me so much. I remember vaguely that it was SmackDown.
Okay.
But I can't remember the first thing or the first match even that they saw.
SmackDown in 2007. That's a decent year. I can't remember anything about that, but it was an interesting time. I think they had just like lost Kurt Angle and they're probably in the middle of a draft or something like that. Do you remember your first like wrestling memory? Like, what's the first thing that you remember about wrestling?
Well, I remember seeing it on TV like that, and I remember thinking like, oh, I'm not sure what it is, but it's exciting. And when I was 11 years old, I didn't really speak much English either.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very confusing. It was a very confusing experience. And I remember just like sitting there and trying to figure out what's going on. I was trying to like distinguish like certain words that I maybe knew and like see where it's going. Fun fact, for a while, I thought WrestleMania was a person. And I was like, why are they talking about this person? And where is he and which one is it?
That's fucking amazing. Wow. That's so funny. So you didn't know much English. Did you pick up any English or pick up any phrases from watching wrestling?
Wrestling was honestly the biggest reason that I started taking English more seriously because I just wanted to know what's going on. And I feel like it really helped me with actual spoken English that actual people speak,
Mhm.
because the way that's taught, at least in Russia, can tell you about the whole entirety of Europe, but at least in Russia, the way it's taught is very academic and it's very much British English. So wrestling gave me that chunk of American English, and I even remember certain like specifically language related things that WWE did that I wouldn't say they helped me, but they were fun, because I remember Crime Time did that segment where they were like roasting someone, I can't remember who, and they were like, oh, he's a pretender, like without the R, with the A.
Yeah.
And they went on like to give like a almost like a dictionary definition of what a pretender is, and I was like, whoa, like taking notes.
That's incredible. I think the only
I
other
also
time
remember
I've heard that,
um,
I think like Kevin Owens said that he mainly spoke French Canadian, but when he started getting into wrestling, Jim Ross said like he learned English from him pretty much, and he started saying like slobber knocker and stuff like that.
every single non-American person who started watching wrestling at that time thought slobber knocker was a word. Okay,
It is now. We'll consider it a word. I think it might be in a dictionary. I don't know. It's definitely an Urban Dictionary. What were
I
you gonna
also
say?
remember at some point CM Punk did a series of videos on YouTube where he did like definitions of words too.
Yeah.
And he was like very like angrily delivering like certain things that I guess people confuse when it comes to grammar. I remember there was an episode that was literally versus figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, so when you're saying John Cena is literally a piece of shit, he's not literally a piece of shit, he's a human being. And it like really stuck to me. And I showed my dad too, who's obviously not a native English speaker either. And up until this point, when it comes to the use of the word literally, we remember CM Punk.
That's incredible. I remember those. Yeah. He had like 5 of them. He was just yelling and it was all fiery. And he's just, that was awesome. Okay. So you got into wrestling in 2007 on SmackDown. When did you first see Dolph Ziggler?
I think it was around the same time, actually,
Okay.
because it's not like I was watching solely SmackDown. I just when I saw it and I got into it, I started like looking at guides, and I watched. I remember watching Raw. I remember watching. I think it was Superstars at that point. The big great show.
Yeah.
So I watched everything I could, and I think I saw him around that time. But my like most vivid memory of him, of like actually becoming a fan, was when he had Vicky Guerrero as his manager.
Okay.
And it's funny because as a little kid, I loved heels. Like my favorite wrestlers were Dolph with Vicky, Miz, the chick magnet annoying us,
Yeah.
Miz, the freaking evil, disgusting Edge. I loved all of those. I was like, yes, give me that. The only babyface that I was a huge fan of was Kofi Kingston.
Okay. That makes sense. So that was around the Dolph and Vicky stuff was around like 2010, 2011, I think, right?
Probably,
Yeah. And I think that's around the time like Miz won the world title and he was like really becoming
honestly,
a big deal.
I would say 2009 to 2012 were my like peak WWE years. I wouldn't say that I loved it more than I do now, which again, I don't know. WWE has been tricky to love recently.
Yeah, I understand.
But that was like the time when I was, I guess, the most engaged as a fan
Mm-hmm.
because all of these things were happening, because Dolph was doing great. Dolph had his Money in the Bank run, had the cash in, had the title. Miz had the title, also had Money in the Bank. Also, I was a huge fan of the old NXT back then, before the rebrand, the stupid game show NXT. I loved it. So for me, it was like the peak when I was involved, when I wasn't missing any shows, when I was writing fan fiction. Please don't look it up. When I was even like drawing fan arts, and I was doing everything. I was very active in the community. So that was, I guess, the time that really made me the wrestling fan that I am now, in a sense.
That's sick. So 2011, Dolph, when he's around with Vicky, that's like when he had his hair dyed, right? What'd you think of that? Like the brown hair Dolph?
I've seen, he also, after he died, he chopped it off. It was really short. Then he like grew it out again. Honestly, I love all iterations of Dolph. Like I didn't have any drastic opinions about any of them. I actually kind of liked the short dark hair.
I did too.
I mean, I do realize that the blonde is his like thing now.
So have you gone back from like times before 2007 and looked at certain eras of Dolph Ziggler before that point, like Spirit Squad era and like him being a caddy for like Curran White and stuff like that?
I've seen some of the Spirit Squad stuff just because it's like the concept of it is so fun to me. It's so cool. It's like Dolph Ziggler before Dolph Ziggler. And also coincidentally, some people know that I collect wrestling figures. And my probably absolute favorite wrestling figure is the Jack Specific Nikki of Spirit Squad.
Yeah, it's a good figure. He's got a good
I
head
actually
scan on
have
that.
2 of those. I have one loose one, and I have one like perfectly MOC one. I have no idea how I found it because it's kind of hard to find MOC Jacks.
Yeah,
Because
for
back
sure.
then people barely collected them.
Yeah.
And even now when I go to like toy shows, there's tons of loose Jacks, not much boxed, and even the boxed ones are like not in the best condition. But my Nikki is crisp, mint.
That's actually crazy that you would have got that, because I don't know. That's nuts. That's insane. Because I remember, because I was watching at the time, and that's when I was a kid, and we were getting all the action figures. I remember how much of a pain in the ass it was to get those guys, like to get all 5 of them, because they had maybe sold like 2 of them in a 2-pack, and then everyone else was by itself, and like they didn't come out at the same time, and it was so annoying to get all of them. But when you got them, it felt so cool to just have the entire Spirit Squad. It was like so sick.
I've only ever seen 2 of them in real life with my own 2.
I wish I had all
obviously
mine.
the Nikki and so
Yeah, I think Nikki had all of them, but like the Kenny Dykstra one was really cool. And I think that's one that most people have. But like, yeah, those figures were super tight, and having a mint on card one is crazy. Wow.
Yes. Also, you know what really weirded me out? I'm not sure about like the entire history of Spirit Squad, and I'm, again, confession, not the kind of person to go back and watch older stuff a lot. I don't really do that much. But someone sent me a picture of like a later day Spirit Squad, I guess, and freaking Ryan Nemeth was there. I'm like, when did that happen?
I don't remember that.
Like those weird like Mandela effect type of things. I don't think, maybe they were never even on TV because it was definitely a house show picture.
Okay,
but
maybe.
Apparently Ryan was in Spirit Squad.
That's pretty crazy. I didn't even know that. Well, I don't think I've ever seen that.
I should ask him eventually because I've never seen it either.
Yeah.
Apart from that picture.
So last episode we did Alex, and she talked about Shawn Michaels, Queen of the Ring, and she had never met Shawn, and that was something. You've met Dolph
once.
Once you've even interviewed him, and I think he's very well aware of your level of fandom. What was that like?
He's well aware. It's so weird because, again, I've only like met him in real life once during the interview for the interview, and it was such like a long time coming because he has been aware of me for a while because we've been Twitter mutuals, besties, as I always say, for like well over 10 years, maybe like 12 years.
Wow.
And he's pretty much like seen me grow up as a person and as a fan of his, and it's kind of cool. And I'm also friends with Ryan, so it's like we all like knew of existence of each other, but I've never met him. And before the interview, I met him at one of those digital meet and greets that WWE did at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like so nervous, but it was like kind of chill. It was like chill to the point where it's like, it's no big deal. Like, oh, it's you. It was like, sure, like we both know that you were going to be here. But meeting him in real life, honestly, was amazing because, especially since it was like in a professional setting, I guess, not like a meet and greet type of thing, not like a fan type of thing, but an interview. Because I know that he's like vaguely mentioned even to other people that he like knows that I do those, and he thinks my stuff is cool, which is amazing to hear from a person that you admire this much. And he is, again, not to say that other wrestlers that I've interviewed weren't that, but he was amazingly professional, just so like nice to be around, and just a great person to work with. And again, not to say that other people aren't like that, but the way he like treated me was great because he like made an active effort to make this interview, good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? It's like because sometimes people, again, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but sometimes people come in and just like
they just do it to, they get over it.
I'm the talent, like to get it over with, which is perfectly fine because wrestlers are most of the time very tired and in pain, so I get it. But he really made an effort for me, and that was wonderful. That made my heart happy.
I think what was it? Maybe after that Survivor Series that just happened in November. He does like Comedians of Wrestling, and he was refereeing one of the shows there, and he did a meet and greet afterwards, and he took like time with everybody. Like he had he was lifting up people if they wanted to be lifted up for pictures. He was just taking time to listen and talk to people. And it wasn't that many people, but like he could have just dipped out after. He could have just left, but he was like really sitting there taking time. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted a picture of me holding him up, but he didn't trust me. And I was like, no, I can do it. I can lift you up. I can promise I can lift you up. He's like, are you sure? Yeah. But then we messed up the timing of it. And so he's like, I told you I couldn't trust you. I was like, no, you can't, just get it. And we got it eventually. But I was like, most people wouldn't let that happen. Most people wouldn't just like, they wouldn't take the time to do that. It reminds me a lot of like John Cena and how much he takes time to, just be cool with people.
I also interviewed Ziggler before his comedy show as well, and he had a meet and greet afterwards. And that one was actually a lot of people. Like the line like wrapped around the room, and he took his time with every single person. I think he left at like freaking 2:30 in the morning because he just had to take a picture with every single person that came, and that's great.
So, what about Dolph Ziggler makes him? Well, you said you had a top 5. I would assume since you chose him, maybe your favorite of all time at the top of that top 5. But what makes him as a wrestler get into that top 5 position?
I just really like his in-ring style, and I've noticed that I like that in-ring style in other people as well. And maybe that's part of the reason why I like, say, Buddy Murphy so much. Technical, very classic kind of thing, which I know it's great, and some people make it work amazingly, but it's not usually my thing. It's still very much like flashy and modern, and there's a lot of showmanship in that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people compliment his selling, which sure, yes, I can't go past that. It's great. And also I've noticed that I like that type of selling over other like styles, because he makes everything look very believable. He uplifts his opponents. And again, I always say that one thing that I feel really important in a wrestling match is struggle. Like make it look like you're struggling, because no one wants to see you take a walk in the park in the ring. And I feel like he's really good at that. So that if you're asking me regarding in-ring, that's what makes me like him.
And what about like not necessarily in-ring, but other aspects of being a wrestler? So like promos, character work, and stuff like that. Yeah,
because also again, confession, I'm not very much an in-ring driven kind of person.
Yeah, who cares about in-ring? It's all about character stuff. Yeah, characters what we're all here for. In-ring stuff is
in-ring is important, but you're ultimately, you stay and you keep supporting the person for their character. And I feel he's amazing on the microphone, and I feel he's just like, again, it's my personal thing. It's like it's all in my head. It's not real, but I feel like there are 2 types of heels that I can generally throw them into, and that would be evil heels and annoying heels. And I love me a good annoying heel, and I feel like he's just that. Like he's great at pushing people's buttons, I guess, even though he doesn't even do anything. Like unlike, say, Daniel Bryan, when he's a heel, he just freaking pushes all the social agendas, or like Sami Zayn, or say like Miz, he's just like, he becomes this like the most annoying punchable person in the world. Ziggler doesn't even do any of that. It's nothing like over the top. It's nothing, cartoonish, or it's nothing like super fake, I guess you could say. But he just knows how to drive the crowd psychologically, and that's so admirable to me.
I think also one of the things about him is like when he's a heel, he's mainly annoying just because he's right. Like, he's right? Like, it's like his last run. I think he was like, well, I made Big E and I made Kofi. And then you couldn't deny it. Like he was like, Big E. Yeah, you're right. Like most of the time he is right and he has a valid point. And he's also just good. So you're like, damn, this guy is right. Like I wish he wasn't like this so often.
I also love his attitude towards like hate that he gets like on the internet or in real life. It's like just so laid back and so like calm and confident and amazing. Where he's like, I don't even watch. Like what's on SmackDown? I'm not sure. Am I still employed? Do I have merch up? Oh, now I have merch up. Oh, cool. It's like he's just so chill.
He's just a chill guy. Dolph's been in a lot of tag teams, from the Spirit Squad now to the Dirty Dogs with Rude. Do you have a favorite Dolph Ziggler tag team or stable that he's been a part of?
That's a good question. I really like his tag team with Drew McIntyre, actually. And again, I always feel like it's scary to say, but I'm not digging Carr and Drew McIntyre. Like I don't like this. I don't like what's going on with Drew McIntyre right now. But I really like their dynamic, and like I don't buy WWE merch that much. I try to buy from like more like independent-ish people. But one of the like few, like one of the few 30 WWE shirts that we have. Is their tag team shirt. And I just really like the dynamic of, I guess, this, like, again, annoying heel who has the sidekick that ensures that he can say or do anything. It's like Miz and Alex Riley, MJF and Wardlow. I love this kind of stuff. And the way McIntyre would like carry Ziggler out the ring like a sack of potatoes, so I loved it.
I remember like Dolph was like just talking a lot of shit to somebody, and Drew would just legit step in his way, just in case somebody wanted to try something like that. That was a really fun time, especially because like that was him coming back. I think did he come back to wrestling, or did he come back to the main roster with that? I don't remember. I don't remember if he got called up from NXT from that or what. But still, it was just a different like feeling for him, and it was fun to get him back. Do you have a least favorite tag team or manager group that he's been a part of?
Honestly, I don't think I do. Okay. Like I can think of a time frame with Ziggler that I was like, I hate it. That's never happened.
Okay.
No.
Have you ever seen him like with Chavo Guerrero's character Kerwin White, where he's like a caddy?
No.
It's like the first time he debuted, and Chavo Guerrero essentially tried to erase his Mexican heritage, so he pretended to be a white guy that was into golf and like
interesting.
Yeah, and like Dolph. I think that's how Dolph made his debut, where he was just a caddy for Chavo Guerrero, so he would carry his golf clubs and like wear an Argyle sweater and stuff like that.
Actually, I'm not sure if you've seen any of his stand-ups.
Yeah, I have some. I've seen some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, in one of those, he told the story of how they were told that they were going to be Spirit Squad.
I don't think I've seen that one though.
And it was really funny. I'm not sure I can like tell it word for word, but what happened was he's like, oh, like we're new in this company, and we're told that tonight before the show, like the show is the same night, they're gonna like hold like a meeting and tell us like what they're gonna do with us, and everyone's like so full of like hope, and like they're so like cool and jacked, and he's just fresh outside of amateur wrestling, so he's like really serious about wrestling and stuff like that. So they throw together those 5 people and they call them into the room, and they go like, we're gonna do an amazing thing. We're gonna give you pom-poms. And he says this is just like crickets. Everyone's just like stunned. I guess that was fun to find out like the night of the show.
Yeah, that must be like nerve-wracking. I think he became I think he was doing that caddy stuff like maybe 3 months before he turned out in the Spirit Squad, so that's pretty insane. You were talking about how you don't buy much merch. Do you have, if you were, or WWE merch, would you say that most of the WWE merch that you have is Dolph Ziggler merch, or?
It's funny because I've made a video about it, but it's been a while. I need to make like a new one, but I can't really do that right now because I'm like in a very large and profound process of moving from place to place.
You're all over the place. You're all over the place.
But I think it was 2 years ago that I made this video where I went through every single wrestling shirt that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And like the entire video is just that, like me holding up the shirt and going like, this kind of shirt, that kind of shirt, just like very like closely cut together. And at that point in time, 2 years ago, I counted 45 shirts. And yes, Ziggler actually won. I have like 5 of his, I think.
Okay.
And now I have more because I have the Dirty Dogs one as well. But yeah, I have. This is the person whose merch I have the most of. A close second. The second place is shared by Punk and Miz.
You got your faves, and I respect it. I love it.
Yeah, and I support them.
Do you have a favorite Dolph Ziggler t-shirt design? You don't have to own it, but like just one that you're like, oh man, that's my favorite right there.
I actually really like the newest one, the Dirty Dogs one.
Okay.
And that was actually the first wrestling shirt that I ever cut up, which I did tell Dolph about that. Like I made a crop top out of it and put a bunch of like slits in it. But also I'm like so particular about wrestling shirts. I barely like breathe on them. So that was like a nerve-wracking experience. So I still bought 2. So I still have one that's intact. Another one that I really like, and that I have like one of my more like iconic older pictures in, where I have this black hair with like bangs and like those stupid like Ray-Ban glasses that were fashionable in the 2010s. the shirt, like the obnoxious, like bright pink one that says it's not showing off if you back it up, and this also
Yeah.
very obnoxious turquoise
Just
font.
like the big blue. Yeah, he was rocking that
Yeah.
pink and blue colorway for those shirts for a
I
lot.
was so here for it. I love that shirt.
Like all his shirts were just like, you wish you could. It's too bad that you're not me. It's stuff like that. Like, I'm so sick of
I
being
love
sick.
it.
Yeah,
Love
it's like it was on the border of like Hot Topic 2008 stuff, but it
Right,
worked for him
yes.
so well. It was so good for him.
I remember when I got that shirt, I think for some time, for like a week, I like centered my wardrobe around it. I remember that I specifically like bought other things to match it. And like the glasses that I'm wearing in the picture are also turquoise, so it's like it was specifically made for the look of that wonderful shirt. So, and also I think it was like one of the first times that I like started to like interact with Dolph on social media.
I think the one that I really liked was like I think it might have been one of the first ones he had. It was like that baby blue one that said "Stealing the Show" in the yellow font.
Yeah.
Like that was like, I
Yeah,
remember
I have that one too.
I wanted that so bad when I was younger. I was like, this shirt is so cool because he'd come out with it like all cut up and he was like super jacked and stuff. I was like, man, that's
Didn't
such a
they say
good
like
shirt.
stealing the show and your girlfriend?
Yeah,
Or
on the
something
back.
like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
WWE shirts love to put stuff on the back.
So you're like, stealing the show.
And sometimes I'll just put a hoodie on just to make sure that
Just to
no
make
one's.
sure all girlfriends are safe.
Yes, exactly. Is there a dream match for Dolph Ziggler from anyone in the past that you wish that you could see?
From anyone in the past specifically?
Yeah, or anyone that
Because I
doesn't
have
wrestle
dream
right
matches
now.
with anyone in the current scene.
Yeah, that was gonna be next. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Again, I'm not like much of a fan of like old-timey wrestling,
Yeah, I feel
so
you.
honestly, I don't know.
So what about from right now? Like current wrestlers?
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that would be, geez, that would be so
It's
good.
like the dream match, honestly. I feel like they would work really good together. Again, sometimes it's like you think that people would, but then it happens and you're like, okay, I hyped it up too much. But I have a feeling that it would be something great.
I feel like that it would just have to work because they're two people that
Great.
they don't really have bad matches per se. Like they're just great and they would go insane. And that's actually this is the second episode. I've asked that question last episode and Kenny Omega was the answer for a dream match with Shawn Michaels. And that is
Everyone's dream match, honestly.
says a
It's
lot
like if I
about the
were
cleaner.
to pick Buddy Murphy for this and you asked me that same question, I would say Kenny Omega.
That's yeah. And that, we're pretty close to that, honestly.
Also, I know that Dolph has had a match with Ryan, but I don't think it was ever televised. I think it was like an NXT house show.
Mhm.
But I would like to see that match.
That would be pretty cool. That I think that would be, man. Yeah, I like him. I've heard he's been getting a lot of money over there, but I would love for him to just take a year at AEW, just wrestle just some people. If you could replace Dolph Ziggler's theme song with any song, what would you replace it with?
Definitely something by Britney Spears, 100%.
Okay.
Maybe like freaking Womanizer or Toxic. Or no, Womanizer.
Womanizer would be the one. Womanizer would be the one for sure. Yeah. Him coming out to Womanizer. We might have to get.
He would love it too.
I might have to get somebody to make a music video for that. That's pretty fucking good. I like that.
Yeah, like a fan count.
Yeah, I like that a lot. He's had a lot of Dolph Ziggler's had a lot of girlfriends in WWE. Do you have a favorite like on-screen relationship that he's had?
Again, definitely Vicky. Does it count? I think it counts.
Yeah, it definitely counts. I'm pretty sure it counts.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there were some like making out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't know. I'm just a fan of Vicky Guerrero, honestly.
I agree. Yeah,
and maybe that's why she's my favorite manager and such girlfriend for Dolph. She's my favorite manager for Edge, and I like their relationship as well. So yeah, I just like this dynamic. I don't know, like Vicky Guerrero, this wonderful cougar, and a freaking hot guy. Sure.
It worked. It worked really well. I think
it worked so well. Like they had great chemistry, honestly.
Speaking of music,
I can tell you who was my least favorite.
Oh, who?
AJ.
I figured. Is there a reason why?
Yeah. I just again, I'm like ever since I started again, it's been like almost 4 years, but still, ever since I started doing wrestling stuff and like working in wrestling, I'm like so cautious about saying like negative things about people.
I feel you, yeah.
But she just doesn't click for me. I just don't really like her character, I guess.
Yeah,
like
that
the
makes
character
sense.
that she had in WWE. I'm sure she's a great person, and I'm sure she's gonna do great with
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's gonna do great, but that character at that time really did not work for
Yeah,
me.
it sometimes what people are presenting just clashes and with
It was
what you
just like
like.
keeping with toxic internalized misogyny.
Yeah, I feel you.
Even then I realized that was like not right. Like, dude, please.
Or like
I know
15,
you
I
wear
think.
chucks, but please.
I asked this of Alex because Shawn Michaels has so many great attires, but over the last, over the last decade and a half, Dolph's had some pretty nutty attires, and a lot of them have paid homage to Shawn Michaels. Do you have a favorite Dolph Ziggler gear or look
Yes.
in general?
My favorite is a pretty recent one. It's like this, like patent leather-ish, I guess, pants, like
Mhm.
tights. But they aren't like hot pink; they're like baby pink.
Okay, I know what
I
you're talking about.
think I
Yeah,
think they had this. I think Root has like matching trunks or
yeah, he
something. I think it was
does.
their tag team
Yeah.
gear. Yeah, that's like hands down my favorite. I do prefer, for some reason, him in tights over trunks.
Okay.
Um, as for the like overall look, again, I really like when they braid his hair. It looks really nice.
Yeah, he's
And
got.
also like recently, like I try to keep things like very professional with him because I don't want him to think that I'm like, because people say that to me so much because of like the way that I look, and I guess, or the way that I present myself. I don't know, maybe I'm the problem. Because even when I posted the interview, people were like, "Oh, did he hit on you?" Like, no, like he's known me since I was 14. Please. Uh, so it's like I really try to like not talk much about like him being hot, but obviously he's an attractive guy.
Yeah.
Um, and recently he had this hairstyle where he had this like pretty tight like ponytail with like pink like braided ends
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
for like some TV show or something, and it looked so freaking good that I even like messaged him. I was like, respectfully, you look so good.
Sometimes you just gotta let them know respectfully. It's just all everything's working there.
Right?
Do you
I
have
can't. It's not my fault.
Do you have a least favorite gear of his?
I mean, I wouldn't say that they have something that they can actively dislike,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like the like silver trunks era was kind of meh.
Really? Whoa! I Silver Trunks era is okay. That's interesting. I like
I
the
did very much like his like noodle hair that everyone made fun of. Like, I never had a problem with it.
yeah, I like the noodle hair. I thought it was cool. I think maybe around 2011 he had like this cow print gear that had like pink on it.
Oh, I
I
love cow prints.
Yeah, the cow print gear is so. Have you ever seen that? You remember that?
I think so. I have like vague
It
memories.
was really cool. Like I remember in the games I'd
Mhm.
recreate that because it was just like it just looked it was something about patterns. Like at that time, people weren't wearing a lot of pink or silver, and like he was like really like
Yeah.
he was bringing that look back, and I really rock with it.
Honestly, I think it's his fault that to this day I love pink on men.
I think he might have. I think he might have been the reason why I started wearing so much pink. If I'm being honest with you, like pink and baby blue, because those shirts when he had them were just he just made them work. He just made the shirts work so well. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
Like he just
And
goaded.
then he made us wear them, and we didn't, and we
Yeah.
looked freaking ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, we did. We were not. I still see some of
Not
those.
Dolph the level.
I still see a lot of those shirts like at conventions, like stealing the show and your
I still
girlfriend,
have them.
and it's
I
like,
don't like actively wear them because I'm not sure how.
yeah.
I have them.
It's like these people are like, you are not stealing anyone's girlfriend. I know you're not stealing any girlfriends, but I appreciate the fact that you're rocking the shirt. I appreciate the fact that you have the confidence to think that. Um,
Also, like the fashion back then, just overall, like in the world, was a little different. And I'm not saying those were fashionable back then; they were not. But another thing is that now, when I buy wrestling shirts, I go more for like an oversized type of thing. And back then, I used to buy those like the WWE shop had. I think they still have those like women's
yeah, the
cut.
women's. Yeah, I was thinking about. Yeah,
And also, I was way skinnier back then. So now those shirts are tight on me, like
yeah.
sexy, and not in a good way. So I'm not sure how to
Yeah,
wear
they still
those.
have the women's cut, but most people now just straight up go for the unisex, like
Yeah, I think I have
oversized.
like one WWE shirt that's a freaking like women's cut V-neck. Like, who does that? It was a Caitlyn shirt.
Whoa, man! I don't. She had merchandise.
She did, yeah, and it was in the earlier days too. I think it was like before she even had the title, and like weird theme with her. I can't remember like what even the catchphrase or anything was, but her fans were like unicorns, supposedly.
Oh yeah, the green. Okay, yeah, I don't remember
Yes,
this at all.
the green
eight,
shirt with the unicorn.
the
Yeah.
eighth militia. That's
Yes. And another thing is, I was a huge fan of Caitlyn, by the way.
same.
And didn't she tag with Dolph at one point too?
Yeah, I think that they were teaming around the time with AJ. I think
Yeah, I
Dolph
think
might have
so.
broke her heart. I don't
Yes,
remember.
yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay, so she's my second favorite Dolph girlfriend. I'm still a huge fan of hers. I still follow her and what she does, and I think she's amazing.
Yeah.
And I was so happy to see her back for the tournament, and I really want to see more of her. But yeah, I even had like a similar dye job like in my hair that she did with like the brown and the blonde, and
Yeah.
I ended up wearing that hairstyle like way after she got released. I think
it was a good hairstyle. Caitlyn, like, what was that,
Yeah.
2010, 11? I was like 12 or 13. She was the love of my life. Like her and AJ, I was like, they were in like my high school notebooks, like in the cover. Like I loved Caitlyn. Like they were like that was a good era with Caitlyn, AJ, Dolph, like all those people coming in. It was a fun time. That's a good. I mean, you got me reminiscing.
Right? That's what I'm saying. That's like the early like 2010s is like my favorite WWE era. I think we well, not all of us, but some of us had this stage in our early teens or mid-teens where we would just like try to copy everything that we like.
Yeah.
So that was my thing with Caitlyn very much.
I mean, yeah, she's just so cool. Like she was strong. She fit like the WWE at the time, the diva like mold, but she didn't in her own way because she was stronger than everybody.
I think it's more like she didn't, because her whole thing was that she's like this jacked, muscular girl that's like not the diva type.
Yeah.
And it's also now looking back with how many more like diverse women we have in wrestling, it's like funny to think she was like, I wear cargo pants and gloves with fingers, so I'm like tomboy with full face of makeup and hair extensions. Like,
yeah, she was like, I don't think she gets enough credit for that, honestly, in that era, for being someone like her and AJ kind of just being different. And I guess like in being different, that kind of internalized misogyny kind of hit with, that aspect of it.
But also for me, it's like with Caitlyn and AJ, it's like Caitlyn is a healthy way to be different.
Yeah.
And AJ is not a very healthy way to be.
For sure, yeah.
Not like other girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this whole like concept of like not the other girls, it's like it's still so present in WWE. I'm sorry if I'm sidetracking, but like one of the most annoying things to me up until very recently, because she got released now, was that Nia Jax, whom I think is great, I think she's wonderful, but her like whole like theme and merch and theme song, like I'm not like most girls, like give it a rest.
Okay, so do you have a favorite Dolph Ziggler theme song? I know that he's had a couple of versions of "I'm Here to Show the World."
Had like two.
Yeah, they've got a couple of like guitar versions and like "I Am Perfection" type stuff. Like that one's my favorite.
Here to Show the World. I think I like Here to Show the World better.
Okay.
But also I'm like very much a Downstate fan.
Okay.
And long-time friend, not to brag. But they're cool, they're great. And I pretty much just eat up anything that they do.
Okay.
And I know some people hate on them now because it's like, it's like not cool to like rock anymore, I guess.
They made my favorite wrestler's theme song. I mean, cool. How could I not?
Yeah,
like
I mean, they made pretty much all of my favorite wrestlers' theme songs. Miz, Ziggler, Buddy Murphy, like they're all
Cody Rhodes.
They need to make a Cody Rhodes. Yeah, and I actually really like that song before Snoop Dogg jumped in.
You don't like the Snoop Dogg version? Oh my God! Holy moly! Check up in the soul. It's the big homie, man. I love it. It's so good.
It's because they like mashed up like two things that like both of which were borderline ridiculous by themselves, but the mashup is just, it's so bad. They also did the theme song for Frank the Clown recently, right?
They did do the Frank the Clown theme song. Honestly, I might have to ask them to do a Tiger Driver song or something.
This would be so cool. But it was so funny because, again, not to sidetrack, but like a bit of an anecdote. So we were at that show, at the GCW show that Cardona lost his title at, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And we were driving there with Brock Lesnar guy, Mike, and he's friends with Frank. And he showed me this like theme song that they made for him, and we were just like joking, like, "Oh, like Cardona is gonna wrestle Frank, haha." And then he actually did. And we were like the two people who freaked out the most. Like I still have it in my highlights, like the story highlights from the show. I like ran up to the ramp to like film it while like squealing. Not because I'm a huge fan of Frank the Clown, which I think he's cool, I think he's chill, but it's just because we were like joking about it in the car. We were like, haha, he's gonna wrestle Cardona, and then his music hits, and we're like,
I remember, like, because we were there too, and it was so hyped, like, who his mystery opponent was going to be, and me and Jay Rose were sitting there watching it, and we were like, ah. But then we were just like, damn, this theme song is kind of crazy. We were just like, this song is good. Like, I didn't know Frank had a heater like this.
We predicted it though. But also, his mystery opponent in Vegas, like, everyone thought it was going to be Jody. Everyone thought it was going to be Jody. Even Jody thought it was going to be Jody.
I was texting him that day. It should have been. I wish it was him. So I got a little bit of a Dolph Ziggler quickfire trivia round for you.
I'm scared because I'm gonna like embarrass myself. I'm gonna lose my Ziggler fan card.
It's okay. It's pretty easy. The prize for this one is a pair of Dolph Ziggler ring worn gear. Wow, a pair of pink shiny ring worn gear from Dolph Ziggler. I do believe it comes autographed. So this is this is for any major.
With photo proof or not?
I don't think there's photo proof here. I'll have to look back at it. First question is, what is Dolph Ziggler's finishing move called?
Zigzag?
Yeah, there you go. That's the first one there.
I was like so unsure.
Question number 2. What college did Dolph Ziggler attend on an amateur wrestling scholarship?
I have no idea.
Kent State.
Because I have like zero idea of like the American college.
You know what? That is true, and I'm gonna scratch that from the record because that doesn't really count. But Kent State University. That's more of a.
I know where he's from.
Yeah. Let's replace it. Where's Dolph Ziggler from?
From Ohio.
There you go. 2 for 2 right there. Do you know the city?
It's not Cleveland, is it? It's like some smaller city, right? Or is it Cleveland?
I think it's Cleveland. I think he gets billed from Cleveland.
He used to be billed from Cleveland. Now he's billed from Hollywood.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's say Cleveland, sure.
Yeah. How does Dolph Ziggler's theme start currently? His more modern theme.
With Dirty Dogs?
No, like the like from 2017 to 2020.
Like the lyrics or what?
Yeah, the lyrics. Yeah, the lyrics, not a guitar.
Is it I'm here to show the world?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm here to show the world. There you go. 3 for 3. This one might be a little hard. Can you name all 5 members of the Spirit Squad?
No. Let's just say no, I can't.
Can you give me? Can you give me
Nikki,
3?
Any?
One more. It's so close to Nikki.
No, I can't.
We were looking for Nikki, Kenny, Mikey, Johnny, and Mitch. I thought you were gonna lose it on Mitch.
I'm gonna remember that forever.
But this is the last question, and if you can get this one right, you'll get the prize. You've done so well. It's been a good interview. Dolph Ziggler is a big fan of the Cleveland Browns. What year did they last win a Super Bowl?
Dude, I've never ever sat down and watched football. Not in my whole entire life. And that with the fact I'm European, we don't have that. But also that combined with the fact that my dad used to actually play your American football in the 80s, and I still never made a point to sit down and watch a football match. So I have no idea.
Can you take a guess? When's the last time the Cleveland Browns won a Super Bowl?
Okay, I'm guessing that if you're asking, it's probably a long time ago, right?
It is pretty long.
So
that's why Dolph's so mad all the time.
Let's do like 1991.
I'm gonna give you another chance because it's been way longer than that.
Longer?
Yeah, way longer than
19. How long has football been around, dude? Oh my god!
You're asking the wrong guy.
1982.
The last time the Cleveland Browns won a Super Bowl was 1964.
What? I didn't know football was even a thing.
Honestly, it was founded in 1920. The NFL was founded in 1920, and that was their first season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good to know. Wow. Can you imagine that the NFL was founded with all the like freaking flappers around?
All right, can you sum up to end this interview why Dolph Ziggler rules?
because it's not showing off.
You
He's
know
gonna
what?
steal your girlfriend, and it's too bad. He's too good.
That's the perfect answer to this question. I
What
was not
else did you expect?
I was not expecting that, but that's a fucking perfect answer. You know, it's not showing off if you can back it up, man. Yeah, what else do you need? Tell the people where they can find you.
They can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/XeniaDidThat, and under the same nickname on Instagram and Twitter. And they can also look me up on Pro Wrestling Tees, which, if you want to, we have a Pro Wrestling Tees under the same name, XeniaDidThat. And yeah, subscribe to my channel. A lot of full interviews are coming up, and every subscriber matters. I always say that. So if you're already subscribed, I love you. If you will subscribe, I will love you.
Exactly. We're gonna get you over on like What a Maneuver or something. That Pro Wrestling Tees stuff is.
Yeah, I honestly need to do something about
it. So yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming over here. And if internet permitting, we will be doing a watch along of your favorite or one of your favorite Dolph Ziggler matches, Dolph Ziggler versus CM Punk from the Royal Rumble 2012, I believe, over on patreon.com/TigerDriver9X. So go over there, check it out, and be sure to check out all other episodes of Why They Rule. We got last episode was with Queen of the Ring, whose birthday was today. Happy birthday, Alex. Everyone loves Alex. Yes, everyone send love to Alex. Hopefully this comes out this week because I'd date myself if this comes out like in a month. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.